So the show is actually live right now, and I kicked it off early. We're actually doing a live stream that probably I don't even know if it's showing anything right now. I see the countdown though, and it's got 20 seconds. So Nelson, in case we are somewhere, you can say hi to the show. Make sure you look at your camera and wave to your audience. Right? All right.
There we go.
Let's see the count. What is it? Yeah, we got plenty of time. Apparently, if we are, like I say, live, then great. If not, then we will be. So,
Well, can't we tell whether we're on or not?
What's that?
Can't we tell whether we're on or not?
Well, see, you set the schedule to kick off at 5, so they all should be unrunning. But again, I don't usually do live streaming, so this should be funny on playback. So, folks, if you can see us, like I say, thanks a lot for coming. But we're about ready to get started on this stupendous triple broadcast live show, and I'm gonna play the 6-second intro loop here in a minute. Oh boy,
that doesn't come on automatically at 5.
Oh, it does. When I go live, it comes on. But let's see. All I want to see is my clock. Of course, it doesn't show me but my phone might show it. Yeah, my phone will show it. Good.
It's getting close.
We're going to talk about what the heck was that, right? And we're going to talk about what's coming up next in just a microsecond here.
Time.
And so here we go.
It's on.
So that'll be interesting. Welcome to Friday Tea Leaves. We have not had a bag of tea leaves to read through in quite a while. Me and Nelson are going to talk about two main things with all the details in between. And one is what the heck was that? And then what the heck's next? How's that for a clever intro? So let's do some housekeeping. How do I sound? Can you hear me okay?
Oh, yes. Dulcet sounds.
Okay, great.
Yeah, it's very nice. Very nice.
So, Nelson, we went through something that we never thought I'd go through. This referendum. What we have is, as you have mentioned, we have 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Yes. The first one has passed and stumbled and is down, and I don't think the SCOTUS is going to do anything. So that means we have 3 more horses to go. And I just wanted to say, and I want to get your thoughts on this. Why did it take the entire run and the daily bloviating, which is one reason I haven't really said much outside of just to cast a big vote no video about this. All of the noise came down to one thing: is what do you mean by an election? Your rules require, an intervening election. Oh, look, your rules weren't very accommodating to this election season versus election day. That's the real issue. Everything else was noise, it essentially. I think my favorite one was, the compaction case. The Constitution of the state says that it has to be regionally compact. This violates that. And it's like this was a teaching moment, but it's a teaching moment in hindsight. It's like, okay, yeah, it was a compaction rule, but guess what happens when you pass or introduce to be passed a constitutional amendment that contradicts an existing portion of your Constitution? It's not a showstopper. It's called abrogation. It simply gets nullified. And no one said anything about that, until after the fact. It had to be the oral arguments before the state Supreme Court before anything like that was even mentioned. And that's more like a buzzing fly annoyance, which I would assume Jay Jones' badly composed and non-spell checked emergency appeal is going to be a buzzing fly of annoyance to the SCOTUS. So that's where I am with that. What the heck was that? Where are you coming from things with?
The people that are Democrats in Virginia now, they have no semblance of what the Democrats used to be in Virginia. We used to have, believe it or not, conservative Democrats, moderate Democrats. Those people have been bullied and purged from the Democrat Party. And it took 20 or 25 years. But if you're around people and you're a delegate or a state senator and you're around people that are cursing you out, that are yelling at you. After a while, you say, you know what? I'm done. I don't need this. And you go home. And then you're replaced by additional junkyard dogs. So you got lawless junkyard dogs that are the Democrat Party of Virginia right now. So what do oh, this will be nice graphics. What do criminal junkyard dogs do? Do they listen to reason? No. Do they care about the law? No.
No, they just go and pull
right.
against the chain and drag the truck they're anchored to. Yeah.
So if you tell them, which in January, Nick Freitas and other people said, hey, it's against the law. Look, it's on this section here. Look, it's against the law. And what did they say under the leadership of Luis Lucas? I don't care. They turned to their lawyers. The Democrats turned to their lawyers because, you know, they want to make sure because they're going to pour all this money into it. Hey, can we do this? Can we get away? And lawyers tell them flat out, you can't do it. It's in violation of the Constitution of Virginia. And they put in these guardrails specifically to prevent any party from doing what you're doing. What did they say? I don't care. I'm going to do it anyway. Why did they say that? Because when you have criminals that don't have the law applied to them, but applied to everyone else, you have this sense of entitlement and immunity. And Louise Lucas, the mob queen of Portsmouth, is the epitome of that attitude. And that's why she pushed not only the state to drain their whatever money they had, but they convinced Hakeem Jeffries to drain, I love this, to drain the money from whatever money they had, because they were going broke, to take it away from candidates for November and drain it into this, because they knew that if this horseman is the pace horse, it was the most important out of the four, because you pass this, then you can do anything. You got a blank check. You won't be held accountable because the map is rigged. So it'll be a free sailing. And they said that to the national, they said to Hakeem, you'll have Virginia forever. Just let us pour some money into it. We'll win. The Republicans don't have any money. And are you worried about the courts? Well, you know what? With the courts, if you know who they work for, we have control of the General Assembly. So if they want to stay a judge, they will vote to support this unlawful ruling. That's what.
All right, so
that's what happened.
Let's talk about that point.
That's
so
why it was
as this process is going along, you know, all the legislature is in charge of who's a judge. Well, that's not exactly true either. Yes, they appoint, but only impeachment removes until you get this harebrained, dumbass scheme. Oh, well, it's changed the age of eligibility. They're all gone. Oh my! I mean, that is such an asinine, pathetic, and I think a non-starter.
You know, it's so incredible.
It brings something else up, though. Something must be happening that the moves of desperation, right, are no longer well thought out. You can't even run a spell check on an emergency appeal. Well, Virginia senators, you know, I mean, if you use AI for anything, just throw your email into your favorite AI, mine's Grok, and say, can you make this read a little better? They don't have to edit it. Just make sure that's syntactically correct. Why? Because it's like showing up without your pants at a meeting. Oh, I forgot to put my pants on. That's what grammar and syntax and spelling has come to represent, because you're representing yourself in a document, often emailed. So that's why it matters. But this guy who can't even hold his tongue, and his attitude about people that gets in his way in the legislature, doesn't like him, and he threatens the lives of their children and gloats over wanting them to suffer. You guys had the genius to say, well, he's better than Trump and all his friends. No, he's not. He's not. He's effing awful. Right. And we have all the receipts coming in to prove it.
This is important, though. This is important. This culture is a vicious kind of Stalinist culture. The idea was that, we can't remove them, but these judges want to stay on the bench another 10 to 20 years. So in 2 years, we're going to get rid of them, and we're going to make it clear to them, you don't support our unlawful, unconstitutional actions, you're going to be out of a job. And we're going to use our influence to prevent you from getting cases when you go into private practice. You will pay for this. That's why Louise Lucas was so sure about it. And that attitude, look at Jay Jones. He has the same kind of lawless kind of attitude. Oh, they went against us? Fine. We can't remove them, but we're going to change the eligibility age down to 53 and get rid of all of them that way. By the way, all the banana republics in Central America stood up and applauded. They were impressed by this action by Louise Lucas and her minions.
Well, it doesn't go anywhere, but where we do go into the future, the near future, and the future of this critical year, looks a little better than it did. I mean, one of the voices I think that's worth listening to carefully is Nick Freitas, right? Because Nick has the experience and he has the mental acumen, but he has a lot of material, but it's worth podcasting your way through. So when he at one point, he actually, I think I've said this before, he gave me permission that if I needed to move out of this state, that I could, because he couched it in terms of like, you don't give up the fight, but you may change where you're fighting from. So, I may either end up with a place out of here or a vacation home, one of the two, but it's in play, and people should be prepared to do what they need to take care of them, their themselves and their lives and their sacred honor, if you will. But we're still here. So in the future, Virginia looks a little better historically as being a place that didn't get totally mowed over by wackos. Yes. We have the privilege of being one of the first historic states to establish what became the Republic, and many of world-changing documents authored by Virginians. And our 250th anniversary is coming up. But here's the thing that concerns me. Somehow, conservatives and people that were not impressed with the gubernatorial run and there was nothing to show up for, let's say, in their opinion, we need you again, because we're not quite done. I mean, we really need to give Trump all the ammunition, or and some would say the rope needed, because the issue that we end up with, if he is defeated, is the man's dead or he's impeached at a minimum. I don't think we're really going to have to worry about that, but we do still need to take care of Virginia. So the energy to put out a vote no April 21st sign, the energy to say, where's the polling place? That type of energy needs to be cultivated, because there are 3 more abhorrent constitutional amendments that we're looking at. And maybe we have a chance to actually contribute positively towards the congressional seats to retain, if not grow, and as well as change some Senate seats, which should have not been rotting in the blue department all these years. And that's just this year. And so what does it take? It takes maybe an hour, 30 minutes to show up at the primary and 30 minutes to show up in the general. And while you're there, stop by and say hi to the people in the red tent. That's all I'm asking you to do. Show up and pull the lever for the Republican Party. Is the Republican Party so great? Hell no. The state party failed miserably and has continued to fail for quite a while. That's why we ended up in the state that we're in this state, because party leadership was not aware of how important this is to grassroots. They played their games, they cashed their checks, win or lose, and they did not focus on grassroots local units. But that is changing, because we pulled them out of the fire. And Jeff Ryer, the current chairman, said as much. If it wasn't for the grassroots, we wouldn't be here with as close as that vote was. Personally, I think that vote was in fact stolen by late night mail-in ballot dumping. But I can't prove that. But in the last 30 minutes, you get all those thousands of votes all solidly voting yes. I'm sorry, that looks like BS to me. Okay, and does to anyone else. But now you got to prove it. I hope they do investigate that.
So yes,
so that's the future, but that's not all the future.
So that's 2 districts where they had the dump. One had 35,000 mail-in ballots, and the other one had 45,000. And it happened right at 7 o'clock. And it happened in Fairfield, and I can't remember with it. Arlington, it's really good. Arlington, something like that. And Fairfax and then you have, because of the false, the misleading wording, 25% of the informed, because for the most part, the people voting were most likely to be the most informed, because they knew that there was an election and they thought it was important enough to show up. So imagine this, and among the informed Republicans, 25% look at the balance and, oh yeah, I was going to vote no, but maybe I got confused because this says vote for fair elections. I got to vote for fair elections. So you add 25% of the Republicans that should have voted no, but got confused with the wording and the mail-in dumps, and you see that the $90 million that has gone up in smoke that the Democrats poured into this election that they can't get back has gone with the wind. And here, at this point, I'm going to give you my tea leaves. And these tea leaves are golden tea leaves because they're positive.
Because they're made of a special mix.
That's right. So here's the thing. They lost the money. So now they don't have money for their candidates. Yeah. They also lost whatever reputation, whatever, I don't know, among the low information voters and the independents, because of the trial, the emphasis on the deceptive wording and the lawlessness has now been emphasized. And it's not just the Republican Party that's been victimized. It was every single Virginian, Republican, independent, and Democrat who don't like this kind of stuff. You know, they don't like it because they want to be able to, if some incumbent Democrat is hurting their family, they want to be able to vote them out. And now with the rigging of the elections, incumbent Democrats aren't going to be voted out. So this is something that all of us, because we can make this tea leaf come to fruition. We've got to keep reminding them, right? Through memes, mocking, social media, we got to keep doing that.
Tell me your tea leaves.
Okay, my tea leaves is that there is going to be a backlash. That the backlash is going to be because the people watching this show and other people throughout the state will make sure that the Virginians remember what the Democrats did, not just this with the deception, with this voting, with this redistricting, but the lies that allowed Spanberger and all these other Democrats to get in about affordability. And the first thing they do is they raise every tax under the sun, hurting every single person in Virginia. And they proceed to help one group of people, illegal aliens who are committing criminal actions and activities, by not supporting the transfer of these criminal foreign aliens to ICE, which puts us all at risk. So their agenda and their priorities are completely at odds with us. And so I think if we do our jobs mocking, reminding, and going by the record of what they're doing, the actual harm that they're doing, the backlash can take these junkyard dogs back to the junkyards where they belong. And so that's my tea leaf reading.
Well, there is another tea leaf, but I don't know how soon it will emerge, is the Democrat Party actually has a role to play. They do. They've not been playing it. They've allowed themselves to be taken over by mental illness and socialism. Someone comes from a socialist country and he goes, "What are you doing? I just escaped that." And you nuts are embracing it. They don't have an ear for that. They need to have an ear for it, as well as the Democrat electorate. So they have a role to play. And, it's like that scripture that says, as iron sharpens iron, so the wits of one man sharpens that of another. So our system was designed for the debate and for the analysis and for the crafting and forging of policy. Right now, we're looking at basically an ideological civil war, and it's in play. And they're not playing to represent. They're not even playing to preserve democracy. They're playing to maintain and control power as much as possible. So when you look at the current pathetic, very unpopular governor of Virginia, raising taxes, I mean, she's going after guns full bore. That's not going to survive well, but it's still going to happen. And they're going to dance around and prance around and say zippity doo dah, but it's constitutionally unsustainable. But they're also raising money. What are they going to do with the tax dollars? Benefit the citizens of the state? No, it goes into the ideological war chest wherever it needs to be fought. So that puts us, Virginia taxpayers, as writing checks to the enemy. That's not. What a waste. I mean, so much of the political arena that we play, this game we play of celebrity status, I'm going to go in there and change Washington. Well, that's really hard to do. But what do? We get behind them like our favorite football team. Yes. I'm kind of sick of it because very few of these people that show up actually will do the job. they'll just go and cash their checks, win or lose. But there are some remarkable people, and it takes a remarkable leader, and we have one. His name's Donald J. Trump. I don't care if you like him personally or not. I'll tell you the truth. I've never met him, ever. But I can tell when a president can make a decision and make things move like no one since Reagan. I mean, he's remarkable. And he instills that kind of excellence in the people that are actually on board. And I get the best example of that is Marco Rubio.
Oh my God.
I mean, Marco Rubio used to be a strange little twerp, but somehow he's been put on task and he's got broad shoulders and great carrying capacity. And he's serious about what he's doing and he's very capable. Why? Because that's the tone of accomplishment and excellence that MAGA actually truly represents. And I know I'm not drinking my own tea leaves here. I haven't offered a tea leaf, other than we have a chance to actually do something. And I have a very practical thing. For God's sakes, if you want to save America, if you want the 250th anniversary to mean something, if you want it tomorrow, the game in town is the MAGA backing Republicans. That's where the game is. And it's an hour of your time, 30 minutes, 2 different times of a year. Go in and pick your favorite representative for the congressional primary. What you want to see is who is actually going to convince you that they're going to support the Trump agenda the most. That's 30 minutes. Drive there, say hi, go in and pull the vote. The next one is in November. The same thing. If you want to know what's going on, we have this 45 asinine days of voting season, which they put it in and they tripped over it. Ha ha. You got time to go talk to the people at the tent. Those are the folks at the local Republican Party. Probably a couple of the different areas have a Tea Party tent. Go get educated. Don't show up to the Democrats and give them hell. Just leave them alone.
Leave them alone.
Listen, you can say hi. You can go get a cup of coffee if you want. You can ask questions. Don't be rude to them and give them a raft of shit. Just be a good citizen. But if you want to learn something, give the guys at the red tent a shot and maybe fill in some of the blanks if you're unsure about things.
Yeah, everything was over for us. We were facing extinction, and the thing about leadership that you just mentioned, buddy. Well, if you want to see the opposite of that, you have a governor that wins, and it wasn't even a close election. And as soon as that governor wins, all of a sudden there's this conflict within the Democrat Party of Virginia. Louise Lucas, who should be in prison for inciting a riot, she takes over, and she's in conflict with Spanberger. Don Scott, who was in prison for drug trafficking, being a drug kingpin, he's the second in command. That tells you everything you need to know about the Democrat Party. They're a party of criminals. That's what they are. That's why these two were risen to the top, because they actually, one should be a felon, the other one actually was. So now at this situation, the same week that this thing went down with redistricting, Louise, the mob queen Lucas, gets visited by 40 nice people from the FBI who just wanted to visit and see how things are going with her, because they know how powerful she is, and they wanted to see how she was doing. For whatever reason, Louise Lucas didn't like this. So now there's all kinds of evidence. And by the way, for those people who says it's Donald Trump, this investigation began in 2023 under Biden. Biden.
Okay. About that. I'm sure that it did, right? Because she doesn't play anyone's game but her own.
Yes.
And she maybe wasn't buttering the right side of the bread for everybody that wanted what she was up to. But so it did start then, because these people, and here's a tea leaf for you. Watch these poor saps go after each other soon.
That's what I was getting to. That was getting to.
Okay.
Yeah,
but I do want to underscore the fact that while it started in the Biden administration, it was because the corruption wasn't spread broadly enough or buttered broadly enough. But it's in play now with the administration. It's not going to tolerate abuse and fraud.
Right.
And you can scream and squeal. Right. It's not fair. It's racist. No, it's not. It's criminality, and it's being shut down.
Yeah, it began under Biden. For whatever reason, I don't know why. And Biden was absolutely the epitome of criminals. Clinton was very happy about Biden, because Biden became more of a criminal than Clinton, because he became international criminal as well as a domestic criminal. And Louise Lucas should have listened to Hunter. 10% for the big guy, and you'd be okay. So
there's a funny thing about this, and it's the ongoing contest between stupid. It's a contest between stupid and evil. It's really hard to be stupid and effectively evil. So which are they? Well, it actually depends. But a very wise man that I knew when I started getting involved in politics, I actually asked him that question. You
Mm.
know, I said, which is it? Because to be effectively evil, you can't be stupid. You've got to be really shrewd. And he goes, the answer is really simple. If you don't know, you default to stupid. You start there now, and then things can change. There's some really truly evil people, but they're bright. They're brilliant. Actually, the mad scientist is not a fool. He's just
No,
mad. You know.
no. But but
Anyway,
but in this climate, just in this bubble, you could be stupid if no one holds you accountable to any of the criminal
oh
activities.
yes,
And
oh
you just you do riots in the streets and go up to the camera and say, "I'm Luis Lucas, and I brought you this riot," and nothing will happen to you. That's kind of you could be really stupid. But here's
well,
here's the
yeah,
here's
but
the last insider information, which is actually a positive thing.
okay, I'll listen
She's
to
not
positive.
she's not exactly Miss Congeniality. I mean, she's a sewer rat that's eaten up by lice and fleas, and that's being told by her friends. But the thing is, her glue is the money that she pours out to them to help them with their campaigns. So
And the
but
control.
once the money stops, the loyalty stops. And so now the first head has rolled. And as of 2 days ago, the person that they first arrested has now agreed to
State's
do
evidence.
state's evidence. Isn't that cool? Oh, it's so good. And
Of
you
course.
know, everybody else in the inner circle has just found that out. And I think they're going to rush to make deals because they know that this guy has the names and the receipts. So it's going to be brutal. But I want this to be drawn out. I want it to cost every penny she's got.
Yeah. Well,
She's
I
going to
mean,
get good lawyers. She's going to
it's
need
it's
them.
kind of funny. I have received $0. I have spent uncalculable XXX number of dollars. And so it's interesting. If we had money, would we be corrupt? Well, we've
I don't,
seen evidence that yeah, that happens, when money
mm,
gets involved. So at this point, we're broke or we're spending money out of our own pocket
yes.
for what we know to be true and useful and right. I mean, because if you look at the contrast, what it's come down to, it's appalling. What do we want? We want a place to worship. We want a place to have community. And no, we're not racist. We love everybody because we're
Mhm.
commanded to, and we work on that.
Yes.
We want to have children. We want to have stable families. We want to have a place to work. We want to see the results for our efforts.
Yeah.
Compared to kill kids before they have a chance to breathe, practice sexual mutilation and deviancy, coddle criminals and punish people who achieve. You compare those two types of things. I mean, just on that really introductory level, it's like you got nothing. The left has nothing of any value. And when you take away the things that support it, like money, like shared, operations of corruption, it collapses if you are really serious about shutting it down. And I hope that we're seeing that. And if it gets crashed and smashed enough as it needs to, it benefits even them.
Yes, it does. Yes, it
Because
does.
it's not good for people to think that
No.
way. It's not good for people to live that way.
When it crashed and burned in San Francisco, that beautiful city was lost, and both the right and the left suffer now for that.
Yeah. So Spencer Pratt, you may think he's a hater and whatever else your ideology's programmed you think of him. Things will be better if he's allowed to actually put his
Yes.
controls into place. And then people who are zoned out on drugs may actually have a chance to actually live longer. They get some help, real help, not just coddling in the streets, living in filth and tattered tents.
Yes.
What a way this country has come to be. But we're at we're nearing the end of our show for our tea leaves today. Have we covered the tea leaves that you had with you today, Nelson?
Oh, I just have one more.
One more. All right.
I predict that on June 20th, 2026, there's going to be a major event sponsored by the Virginia Tea Party, America 250 Summit. And that thing is going to be the event to go and show. It's going to be a show for an event for all of us. Not only are we going to have practical, strong information on the very thing that I predicted, that we would be able to take our state back. Ned Ryan's going to be there with America Majority, that's going to show us how to set up the the structure for winning. And we got time to do that. And it's through registration. That's how we got Pennsylvania to vote for Trump. Registration was the key. Those strategies and tactics we're going to learn. And we're going to have Z Van Fleet there that's going to be talking, and she was born under Chairman Mao, believe it or not, and she's got a new book called Made in America. It's going to be riveting because it's going to be talking about how we can deal with those kinds of fascistic, totalitarian efforts to shut down our freedoms and how to beat it. So we're going to have, and then we have Mark Mix, who's going to talk about the right to work. But the biggest and most interesting thing, in a way, because it's different, is we're going to have a theatrical production reenacting the speech of Patrick Henry. And we're going to have all kinds of people. He's going to have Patrick Henry's colleagues. I heard, buddy, George Washington. I heard I think he bought a ticket to come to this thing. And there was another one of these great people that's coming too. I don't know if it was Tom. Yes, it's Thomas Jefferson. I heard yesterday Thomas Jefferson bought a ticket. It's incredible.
Well, I will say this, the thing of all the founding fathers that I admire the most was Patrick Henry. So, yeah. And this event, I think, is patterned after what they do at St. John's Church. And if you see, I mean, when I first encountered this, it wasn't at St. John's Church. It was at a Glenn Beck rally, back when George W. the second was Bush the second was president.
Oh, yeah.
So, and then so Beck brought the reenactor who gave that absolutely stunning "Give me liberty or give me death" speech. It's one thing to read it, it's another to discuss it, but to live it, which this gives you that chance, made me go to St. John's, and it's almost a rite of passage for any American. I'm gonna do this though, Nelson. I think you're gonna get that tea leaf that you just described, and since I'm so inexperienced with closing out a stream, I'm going to do the intro, exit rather the outro, and then end the stream and see if it plays twice. Anyway, with that, I'll say goodnight to my friend Nelson, and we will see you on the next one with lots more exciting things and more details about our June 20th summit. You can get tickets. I think the early bird special is about over.
Yes.
So look out for that. And with that, I will say again, good night, Nelson.
Good night, buddy.